everybody, Elle here and welcome to my channel. So before I begin with my Pan That Palette intro for 2017, I just have a couple of quick little housekeeping items. So I will include a timestamp somewhere in the description box if you just want to skip past this. But first things first, my son decided to headbutt me, and so I have like a huge swollen, bruised lip. So just in case you guys are wondering what's going on there, I tried to like even it out as much as possible so it didn't look totally weird, but that's what happened. I have this big bruise on my lip. Just wanted to get that out of the way and address that first. Second thing, I know my intros are late. I really had meant for everything to come out a lot earlier than starting now, but I had a really difficult time filming over the holiday season, so I had to push everything, which unfortunately meant that I had to push my intros because I didn't want to have all my intros coming out before I got to wrap up my projects, because I just wanted to have that sort of closure with some of my 2016 stuff so that I could move on. So the only things I still have remaining from 2016 are my Pan That Palette with the Vice LTD, but that's not finished yet. If you follow me on Instagram, you will see I try to put updates like every 3 to 4 days or so you guys can see where I stand. That should be finished before the end of the month though, fingers crossed. And I need to do an update on my Project 100 pan because I am carrying that over into 2017, but I'm also going to do a declutter of some of the items. Like if there's stuff that I haven't touched in the last few months in starting that project, which I think was like maybe 5 months ago, maybe even 6 months ago. It was a while ago anyway, so I need to declutter some of the stuff that I wasn't using from there. So those are the two things I have left holding over. I need to do my inventory, which I just finished doing on Instagram as well, so you can check me out there. I took pictures of all the sections of my collection or stash or whatever you want to call it. But I will be doing a video all about that and the numbers and etc, etc. And the third thing is about my background. So you guys might remember my frustration with it. I wasn't happy with it before, the way that it stood previously. I just felt like everything was too cluttered, and that's when I brought in the curtains. And some people liked it and some people really did not, and people have been pretty vocal about it, what they liked and what they didn't like. I have a bunch of different colors, but I've kind of stuck with this one because it just seems to be like the most acceptable one right now. So I'm sticking with that. However, this weekend I should be able to change everything. So the only thing I really have set right now is that I'm going to be painting the wall behind me white, because right now it's gray. And so that was a problem when I was filming, is that it just, there was not enough brightness and not enough light because I don't have natural light. I rely solely on studio lighting. So all I know is that it's going to be white. I'm not exactly sure what kind of decor I'm going to have. I'm thinking about putting my records back up behind me. If you check out some of my earlier videos or videos from like 3-4 months ago, maybe even longer than that. No, I think about 3-4 months ago, you guys would have seen the records behind me, and I liked that, but I'm interested to hear what you guys think, what you guys like from people that you watch. Let me know. I've been asking some people for feedback, and as always, like, any advice you guys can give me is very, very much welcomed and very much appreciated. I have really tried to improve like my channel based on your guys' feedback and constructive criticism, because that's really helpful for me. Having you guys to give me suggestions and kind of bounce ideas off me has been really helpful, and I think that it's really improved a lot of the content on my channel. If you look back at some of my earlier videos and you look at now, like there's a whole lot that I've improved and I've been working on. So if you guys have any suggestions, any ideas at all, let me know and I'll figure something out so that I can have like a much better background than this, because I don't like it. I don't think that it really represents me as a person, and if someone is new to my channel and they are seeing this, then they're probably not getting the best idea of who I am, and I want to have something that represents me. Anyway, enough about all that. Let's talk about my palette choice for panning in 2017. And it looks surprisingly small, doesn't it, compared to the Vice palette? That's what I was thinking when I saw this. So I was originally going to pan another full-size palette. And I had a lot of people in my palette collection video kind of give me suggestions, and when I talked about in other videos about what kind of palette I might want to pan, a lot of people were saying like, do a naked palette, do another Vice palette, do this palette. Like I had suggestions all over the place, and I really wasn't sure what I was going to do. But then I actually had quite a few of you guys say, don't pan a palette at all. Use your eyeshadows that you haven't been using. You know, take a break from panning that palette. And some people said, if you want to pan something small. And I thought, you know what, that's a great idea, because I really haven't been using a lot of my shadows over the last year and a half, because I've been working so hard on finishing just a certain few, which is why I'm doing the Project Pan Porn, so I can hit pan on shadows. And then I thought I would pan a small palette. So I chose this one because it has small pan sizes, but I really want to try out more of the MAC formulas and how well I can pan them, because I have quite a few MAC eyeshadows and I've only ever panned one before, and that was, I think, a pearl formula. I'm not quite sure. It was a couple years ago. Anyway, it was one that I could use wet. So whenever you can use a shadow wet, you're going to go through it a lot faster. So I wanted to see what I could do with this. Plus, there's also the additional bonus of being able to back to MAC it once it's finished, which I think will be fun. I haven't got a whole lot of use out of this palette, simply because I bought it at a time when I was using other things and I was just really drawn to it because burgundies. I am all about burgundies. I love burgundy lipstick, I love burgundy eyeshadow, I love burgundy nail polish, I love burgundy clothes. Burgundy, 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 I'm obsessed. And so I really love the tones that are in this palette. Kind of frustrated that there's no mirror. I realized that as the last few days when I've been trying to like play around with it a little bit and using it with some of the shadows that are still left in the Vice LTD. I keep going like this and there's no mirror. So that's gonna get old really fast. I already know that, but I'll just deal with it. So there are 9 small pans in here. On the back it says that each pan is 0.8 grams or 0.02 ounces. So to put that into perspective, the Vice palette is actually pretty close to the exact same thing. It's 0.03 ounces as opposed to 0.02, but it's still 0.8 grams. So like there's a very small difference between the sizes of the Vice pans and these guys, but there is only 9 in here as opposed to the 20 in the Vice palette, so that gives me hope. So I'm just going to go through the shadows that are in here. I will give their description as per the MAC website, and I will show you guys swatches. So the first shade is the shade I have used the most. It's actually on the inner portion of my lid today. I absolutely love the shade. I think it's one of my favorite MAC shadows. It's Honey Lust, and it's a luster formula, and it's described by MAC as a bronze dipped peach. And it's definitely very gold, but it blends so beautifully on the lid. It's just such a beautiful golden shade. I'm crazy about this, and I think this is easily going to be the first shadow I hit pan on, and very likely the first shadow that I finish. The next shade is called Poppyseed, and it's a satin. It's described as a mid-tone mauve nude, and I definitely say it leans more towards the cool side. There's not a whole lot of shimmer or anything in here, and I do really like to use that shade in the crease. Satins are usually pretty good to use in the crease for something a little bit different than a straight up matte. And the next shade is a matte. It's Quarry, and it's a soft muted plum brown, and I'd say this one is very cool toned. At least it looks pretty cool toned on me, which I like, because I definitely think that sort of cool or neutral shadows are ultimately the most flattering on my skin tone, because I am cool toned, but I love me some really warm, crazy eyeshadows as well, so don't get me wrong. Next we have Antiqued, which is a Velux Pearl, and it is described as an ash brown with bronze. So this is one that I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use this. I think just a wash all over the lid of this shade would be pretty. I have like all of the shades on my face today, and I used that one a little bit on the outer portion, but I did notice quite a bit of fallout, but that was just one time using it and I used it dry. So maybe because it's a Velux Pearl, it will be something that will be better off used wet. The next shade is called Embark, and this is a matte. It's described as an intense reddish brown, and this one is beautiful. This is a shade that I can really see myself using to deepen looks. I really do like black eyeshadow, so I'll probably have a black in my Project Pan Porn, and I did use a black in this look today because sometimes it's just, you just need it. You just need something a little bit more. It's fairly pigmented, and I think that it'll be pretty versatile. Next we have Hashtag Noir. Yes, the hashtag really is in the name. It's a velvet shadow, and it's described as a deep black brown with gold pearls. This is another one that kind of worries me a little bit. This will potentially be the last shadow standing. I can already tell that now. It's just not something that I generally reach for. I like dark shadows, but I like to either use them all over the lid and do like a smoky eye, or I will use them to deepen, where this one has that shimmer in there. I don't know how it's going to look all over the lid, if it's going to look kind of muddy. Sometimes I find with dark shadows that have glitter or shimmer in it, they just end up looking kind of muddy when they're packed on the lid. And when you try and just use it to deepen a look, like in the outer corner, the outer V, I just find that some with glitter, it's just too much fallout, and then it just there's too much competition going on, especially if you have shimmer on the lid. So that one would probably be pretty as a liner, but I don't generally like to use my shadows as a liner. So this is one I'm gonna have to really play around with and see what I can figure out. Next, there's a shade called Haux, and it's a satin. It's a soft muted rosy brown, another shade that I absolutely love, and it really is very close to a matte, and I will definitely be using that shadow in my crease. Next is Star Violet, which is a Volux Pearl, and it is described as a pinky brown plum, and this one is very pretty, and I think this one is a shade that I will get a lot of use out of as well on the lid. I can see myself doing sort of the pinky brown smoky eye. It reminds me of a couple of shades that I've used in other palettes that I really like. I've only used it a couple of times. Like most of these shades in this palette I've only used a couple of times, with the exception of Honey Lust, because I just really love that shade. So it's going to be a lot of experimentation with this palette, which is what I'm really looking forward to. And lastly, we have Sketch, which is a velvet, and it is described as a burgundy with red shimmer, and I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of this one too. I can see myself pairing Star Violet and Sketch together for just that dramatic, crazy smoky eye that's gonna really make my blue eyes pop. I'm really excited to play around with Sketch. I think I'm gonna have some fun with that one. So really, there's only one shadow that I probably will have some problems with, that being the hashtag Noir. But that's the fun with Pan That Palette, is that you get to learn a lot about what you can do, what you like to do, what your preferences are. I was making a list when it's coming to the Vice LTD about my shadow preferences and, you know, my top 5 from the palette, and when I had the top 5 there, I was like, this is kind of surprising, but not really. But it probably wouldn't have been the shadows I would have picked at the beginning of the year. Like if someone had asked me back in January what my 5 favorite shadows were from that palette, like I definitely know my number 1 definitely would not have been my number 1, because I learned from panning it and from looking up tutorials and looking up reviews and reading different things about it, and it just completely changed everything. So I'm hoping that that will be the same way with this palette. I'm hoping that I will come around to shadows that I'm not sure about now, and that I just grow to love different things and learn to use things in different ways. One of my makeup goals for 2017 is just to experiment more and to practice more and to work on my skills, because I really do love makeup and I just want to be better at it. So I think something like this will really help me. I really do love MAC eyeshadows. I find that the quality is like right up there. So I'm excited to give this palette a go. I know it is a small one, but I think it is still going to take a lot of work. So I'm really looking forward to playing around with this. I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of looks I can come up with. I know last year I didn't do like any get ready with me's or tutorials. I don't know if I did, maybe one. It's just not my thing. I'm not good at them. I just really suck at filming them for some reason. I would like to try and get better, and I will try. That's all I can promise, is that I will try. I do my best to take pictures of my makeup and post it to my Snapchat in case you guys are interested. I've posted quite a few of my looks there that I've done using the Vice LTD. I don't post pictures all the time, especially when I'm doing a repetitive look. Like sometimes I might wear the same look for a week if I'm feeling it, and so I might take the picture one day, or you know, a couple days if I'm doing a different lipstick or something like that. But anyway, just in case you guys were interested, those options are available for you there. And I will also be posting updates, pictures of this palette on my Instagram, and I'll probably split the difference between here and my Instagram. So where this is my intro now, in about 2 weeks or so, I'll probably post a picture update on my Instagram, and then I will do a video update a month from when this one goes up. I really look forward to sharing my progress with you guys. I look forward to sharing what I've learned in a month, what kind of looks I came up with. I think it's just a lot of fun. I really do enjoy it, and I love hearing back from you guys. And when you guys have any suggestions, I love hearing them. If you guys have any ideas for like look combinations or anything I should try out, if you have this palette and if there's like go-to looks that you really love, let me know. I can't wait to play around with this more. I can't wait till the Vice is done so that I can give this more of my attention. It's such a beautiful palette, and I'm really feeling it. So I want to keep my motivation train going. I did really, really well in 2016. I finished a lot of stuff. I was very, very successful, and I just want to keep that going. And a lot of that is because of you. So thank you so, so, so much. Honestly, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you watching right now, because it's just such a huge motivational factor for me, and I feed off of it. I feed off of your guys' positivity and your guys' support and energy, and it helps me, and I've heard from a lot of you that I've been inspiring you. So just know that it's mutual. It's this big back and forth, and I hope that we can keep it going. So I really appreciate you guys so much. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. I know I'm really behind on comments, and I apologize. It's been a crazy time. I'm trying my hardest, and I know you guys know that. So thank you so much, and I hope I see you in my next video.